One problem I had when I was cycling in the heat is that I'd have a water pack and I'd have 2 water bottles, but it always seemed like at the end of the ride, I'm always completely worn out, no matter what. I'd load it up with water. I'd have a Gatorade or Propel in my water bottles, but by the end of the ride, I'm wiped, and the next day I'm completely non-functional. And these are on rides that are like 30 miles long. So I basically felt it was time to kind of reevaluate what I was drinking on the rides and what I was eating on the rides. So as I would go on my own rides, you know, the non-supported rides, I have to bring my own stuff. When I first started riding, I would bring, you know, maybe 1 or 2 of these bottles with some water, some Gatorade in it, and that was it. I'd have a couple of goos maybe for some nutrition along the way. But especially the last couple of years when it was getting really hot out, I would really, you know, like I said earlier, suffer as I got home. So I tried to look at what I was doing wrong. I'd carry this CamelBak and it holds 2.5 liters, so I put water in there. Okay, so water's great. But when it's super hot out and you're sweating up a storm, you're losing a lot of nutrients that water can't necessarily on its own replace. Nutrients like sodium, potassium, I don't know, all sorts of other things. Carbs, that sort of stuff. At first I was using this Gatorade powder, but I felt like it had too many carbohydrates. It was too sweet. I didn't really like it, so I tried to replace it with these Propels, and these Propels are not as sweet, but they don't have as much nutrient replacement in them. There's sodium, but not enough for me, I don't think. This year I came across this product called Skratch, and the nice thing about Skratch is that it doesn't have a whole lot of sugar in it, so it's not super sweet. It's got 380 milligrams of sodium per scoop, and for me it seems to have really worked out nicely. What I'll do is I'll put a scoop of this into this water bottle and pour it into my CamelBak. I'll do it again. I'll put 2 bottles of that Skratch worth into my CamelBak. Then I'll have 2 bottles of water with me on my bike. So I'm riding around with 40 ounces of the Skratch and 40 ounces of the water. That seems to really make a big difference for me. I'm not as wasted at the end of the ride. I seem to have a pretty decent amount of energy. Another thing I kind of picked up on was, like, you know, limiting calories on rides is just about the dumbest thing you can think of. You really need to get about 100 calories an hour as you ride. So I'm trying to make sure I have enough gel packs. Sometimes I'll bring a Cliff Bar along. This has 250 calories in it, so it's kind of good for energy. I know some people pack real food when they ride. That's just what I happen to use. The CamelBaks, I think I mentioned this, got 2.5 liters worth of space in here for water. These backpacks also have storage in here, which is kind of nice. Storage in here, which is kind of nice. And this thing can extend as well, so if you need to take some, I don't know, a jacket or something, a raincoat, you can cram it in there, so that works pretty nice. The delivery system on these CamelBaks is just this hose. And you bite down on this piece right here, and you drink out of the hose. It's perfect. Now on my bike computer, I use a Wahoo Element, and within the last 6 months, they've had an upgrade where you can actually set up reminders like when to drink, when to eat. You know, it seems kind of stupid to, you know, what would you need a reminder like that for? But sometimes when you're on the road, you kind of get caught up in the ride with visiting, talking to your friends and whatnot. Sometimes it's, you know, like me, I would forget to drink, forget to eat. So now on my bike computer, just pop up every 15 minutes, drink. Every 40 minutes, eat. And, you know, it's simple reminders like that that keeps me kind of focused on making sure that as I go through these hotter rides, I replenish what I lose in sweat. And so far this year, I've had a lot of success. So hopefully that'll keep up. I think that just about covers everything that I bring for food and drink wise on a ride. So let's wrap this up. The last thing that I've also started adding to my normal routine is I try and drink 64 ounces of water every day, no matter what. That was something I definitely was not doing. I mean, I might drink a glass of water or coffee, or just get liquids in other forms, not just flat out water. I think that also has made a big difference in how I just generally feel all the time, as well as kind of like preparing me ahead of time for longer rides. So I think that just about covers everything. Am I doing something completely different from you? Do you have any other ideas that you'd like to share? Just write them down in the comments and we can talk about them. I don't have a lot of subscribers, so I'm really quick at getting back to questions and comments and things like that. So anyway, take it easy and stay cool.